MJ.
Karine, at this point, with 2 months left in the administration, does the White House see a real value in President Biden directly engaging with members of the press?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Look, I think we have worked really hard, and I hope you all have seen this, to make sure that we brought back the norms that was taken away from our predecessor on how we engage with the press. The president respects uh, the freedom of the press, and he actually enjoys engaging and going back and forth with all of you. And that is something, and he's done that extensively, and that is certainly something that he's going to continue to do. We have less than 60 days, I think you just said 2 months left. That is plenty of time for the president to continue that engagement. He will. And, this, this is something that we respect. Bringing back the norms, working with the White House Correspondents Association, making sure that we have that healthy back and forth with the press corps. And so we believe it is important when the president engages with the press. He's done, I believe, more than 50 interviews just this year alone. He's taken hundreds of questions in his back and forth with all of you, and that's going to continue.
If all of that is true, why on a 6-day foreign trip where the president obviously had a robust American press corps traveling with him, did he not have a single engagement, whether it is a press conference or maybe just speaking on the tarmac or really anywhere where he took questions from the press?
I mean, as you all just stated and wrote about, the G20 and APEC was his last opportunity to deal with some of these world leaders that he has built a close relationship with. Has some of them he's known certainly more than his almost 4 years in this office, and so he truly wanted to spend time engaging and listening, having that one-on-one engagement that the president believes in and trusts in, and so he wanted to spend time doing that. And so that's what you saw the president do. And I get it. I get that you all want to hear from the president. I get that. I understand that. And I'm not saying that you won't. You will. He will certainly continue to engage with all of you. And it is. When I say it's something that he actually enjoys doing, it is. He enjoys having the back and forth with all of you, and that's going to continue.
Just to be clear, you mean the explanation is that he, on this trip, was extra busy meeting with world leaders because this is one of his, last big foreign.
What I'm saying is, as you know, this was one of his last opportunities to speak to many of these leaders. There were 20 leaders at the G20, more than 21, or about 21 leaders at APEC. And so he wanted to spend that time, certainly doing what he normally does at these conferences, obviously, but also, speaking directly to them as one of his final times as president. And again, putting that aside, I think your question was, do we believe that he should engage some version of that? I apologize if I'm not quoting you directly. Yeah, we think it's important for him to engage with the press. He thinks it's important to engage with the press, and that's going to continue. It is. You will hear from the president and have an opportunity to do those back and forths that you normally have done with him.
This is related but separate from just the trip itself. It's been more than 2 weeks since the election. This was an election that elected a man that President Biden has repeatedly referred to as an existential threat. So why is it that the American people have not heard President Biden talk about this threat since the election?
Because there was an election and the American people spoke. Mm-hmm. The will of the American people were very clear, right? And so the president is now in a situation where we have to deal with a peaceful transfer of power. Mm-hmm. We have to respect the will of the American people. And that's what you have been seeing from this president, trying to lead by example to make sure that that happens. And that's what the American people deserve. That's what the president deserves. And that's what I think he was very clear about in Rose Garden when he delivered his remarks 2 days after the election. And he said, he was very honest. He said, these, and again, I'm not quoting him exactly, but these were not the results that we had wanted, right? And that's just being honest. They weren't. But we are now in a position where he believes he has to lead by example and show what a peaceful transfer of power looks like. And so that's what you're seeing from this president. And, to the points that you made, I've been asked about existential threat. I've been asked about threat to our democracy. The president is always going to be honest with the American people. He feels like he is obligated. What he said still stands. But we are now in a different place. We are. The American people spoke. They deserve a peaceful transfer of power. That's what this president wants to do.
Does he have a message for people on what they should do about this existential threat? Assuming that he still believes Donald Trump is an existential threat.
Look, his thoughts and what he said, his thinking on that has not changed. It has not. And I think he was very clear about what he believes should have been done or how we should move forward. How, he was very clear during those moments that he spoke about it. Right now, he wants to lead by example and talk and show the American people what it looks like to have an efficient, effective transfer of power. And he believes that is what the American people deserve. And I'm just going to leave it there for now. KJP.